to another exciting video of easy coding. In our past video, we learned how to install WAMP to connect to MySQL at the command prompts and at the same time to change the password of root. In this new video, we're going to connect to a new database, create a user, connect to that database and give privileges to that database. Then I'm going back to my command prompts. If you remember where we installed WAMP the last time, it was installed on the WAMP 64 and MySQL the bin folder to get MySQL, and under MySQL the new version of MySQL that was installed and the bin folder. Sorry to the deep path of MySQL. Now we can now connect to the database with the old password user you created, the root user that comes by default. So that is my MySQL root, and if you remember, we supply a password. So we supply a password. So the password was, if you remember, easy password and easy password. Now we are in MySQL. So what we can do, the last lesson, you realize that there was some comments on the YouTube video to clarify where the user table is. The user's table is in first I'm going to show all the databases. If you remember this command, databases that exist by default with MySQL, this is it. So MySQL, this database has the user table, so you can select use all if you like. This is a command, a query command in SQL to select, to retrieve everything from a database. So select all from the name of the database, MySQL, and the table name is user. So you have this notation of database.table, right? Semicolon to ends all commands, as we explained the last time. So this will give you all, so it's difficult to read. You can use the up and lower key to navigate through the pass command. Also, this is possible. So select all to really see the user. I can say user, comma, host is where the user is having access from. So on this particular machine is local host. So you can see you have root. So root is here. This is where it is. Alright. So what next we're going to do is to create a new user. The best practice is to have a different user to access the database, not the root user. So the same thing going to be done as the last time. So you create a new user, call the name of the user is called my user. Simple. At where is it located? Localhost. Identified by, I mean the password at 123, easy. Now this command means we're creating a new user that has a password called pass at 123. Then we have our new user created. We can still check that. We go back to our previous command on the user, select user host from MySQL user, and we have my user, that is our new user. So the next thing we're going to do is to create a database. So create database the name of the database is sales. You can finish here and enter is still going to work, or you can put if not exists sales. These two commands can work, right? Or you can have the shorter version of create sales. This can, the database already exists, but this command is useful in case the database exists already. So it's very important to use this. This will avoid you to overwrite your database. This is the neater way of doing it. Alright, so now you have created a new user. You have an object called database sales. Now let's see whether we can access that database. Exit. Right, and we have a user called my user, the password. Now we are able to use this new user. So what can we use? What can you do with this new user? You can use the database, but guess this user has never been given any privileges on anything. So what can we expect with this command? It should not have access to the database. Use the database sales. This is a new command. Access denied. So this user doesn't have access to the database. Then we need to go back to the roots database user to have that access granted. So exit again. Right, you go back to root. Right, so now if you use sales, you can see that roots is the administrator of the DB. You have access, but in this case we want to grant access to my user. So how do you do that? So a simple command to do that, you should grant all privileges to the user. What is the name of the user? On the database. On which database are we talking about? Here is called sales dot all the objects in the database to the user, which user? My user at local host. So this command should give access to my user to all the objects on the sales database. Enter. Right, this is done. Then we can exit again and try to log in with our sales or my user. Where is my user? You can notice that I've moved away a little bit to this command. Is also possible. It works. Doesn't make a difference. So the password again. Now let's see whether we can use sales. Voila. Now we're able to use sales. So we're able to have access to sales. So my user is having full access to sales. This video is going to be short, just for you to understand the basic of what we did. First, we created a database, we created a user. The user didn't have access to that database, so we granted access to that user to that database and log in on at the command prompt with that user and have access to the database. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video.